Remember the myth of Oroborus. It is an old legend about a snake swallowing its own tail in an infinite loop. The sign for infinity is its emblem. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is a comic turned cartoon turned movie, has turned into an Oroborus of introduction. I'm really not sure as to what Nickelodeon is trying to achieve, but it can be considered the epitome of nothingness. To drive this point home, let's go through the world built first in the comics. In the beginning, it was Mirage Studios who created the comics about a bunch of ruthless killers trained by their master to exact revenge on the Shredder, ending with the Turtles annihilating the Foot Clan and throwing Shredder off the roof. Later, they made the characters have a stronger moral compass and strive for non-lethal takedowns.
I'm sure these guys are fine. They're gonna be 100% okay. They're not at all dead.
Moving on, thank you.
There were many villains introduced, most notable of which are Shredder and the Foot Clan, Krang, Bebop and Rocksteady, Rat King and the Triceratons.
Then Archie Comics took over and presented a much lighter and more kid-friendly version of the Turtles, introducing many characters and making everything look cute.
This is...
who went back to their roots to produce a darker and more mature version of the comics, while exploring the individuality of the Turtles and their struggles. The comics returned home to the Mirage Studios, who ignored everything that wasn't theirs and produced Volume 4, which continued the story they left off but with a new art style. IDW snatched the comic rights and created a reboot that is an amalgamation of everything that came previously, and everyone swore to never talk about it. But almost parallel to all these shenanigans was the thing that actually made the Turtles famous: the TV shows. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started in 1987 and had a total of 10 seasons, but was cancelled due to its declining popularity. It showed the adventures of the Turtles in the fight with Shredder and the Foot Clan, only to be rebooted as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003, which remains faithful to the Mirage comics and introduces the Turtles and later showcases the fights with the Shredder and the Foot Clan alongside other villains mentioned previously. This had a runtime of 7 seasons, but was reforged into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. Now this is one of the best things to happen to the franchise because it introduces new plot lines, various mythologies, and a variety of enemies. It also has a satisfying ending to the overall story. But of course, it had to be ruined by the rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2018. The show that was lit in the worst way possible. The colors are super vibrant, humor is slapstick, stories lack depth, characters are diversified, but the animation is actually pretty good. In fact, it's so fluid that I didn't see any problems with it. Just kidding, they locked it in the basement after the second season and made the world forget of its existence. But there was another medium which may have brought the franchise to its biggest audience yet. The big screens! Yes, I'm talking about the 1990 live-action movie about the Turtles fighting Shredder and the Foot Clan, which was somehow a success. Later, a sequel came out, and the movie was criticized heavily due to its lack of dark and violent elements, which is ever present in the comics. The franchise then imploded on its third installment, which was about saving April O'Neil in a Japanese setting and was a box office disaster. This made the studio scrap any plans they had for the franchise and let it linger in the underworld, waiting for the next chosen one. After 14 years, the gates opened to a brand new challenger. The 2007 movie, which somehow follows the live-action saga with a new villain, who wishes to capture the pieces of Eden to open the Pandora's box to do good, only to be betrayed by a twist villain.
I brought back some takeout, so let's get down and pig out.
It's Shredder!
Who appears and tries to use it for himself, but the hero saves the day. But oh no, they ended the live-action curse and actually made an action-packed movie!
This needs to be reprogrammed.
They said. And so it was sent to slumber another 7 years. In 2014, a movie that seeks to reboot the franchise again appears. It reveals the story of the Turtles fighting Shredder, this time live action. Oh sweet poison, just as I remembered you. The fun part is that it, despite being a box office failure, was already greenlit for a sequel. So Jonathan here took it upon himself to outdo this movie, and I'm very proud to say that he succeeded. Because 2016 Turtles are the most confusing mess I've ever seen. It's supposed to be a sequel, but it's the most disappointing and convoluted piece of media ever created. It is a disaster of such a degree that I cannot even summarize the story in one sentence. The saving grace of these two movies is Megan Fox, who plays the role of April O'Neil, and for some folks, that's more than enough. I wonder who. Years passed, and when everyone believed that the franchise was forgotten for good, someone suggested animation. The movie is called Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which shows us the turtles fighting Invasion of Kang? Oh, thank Lord, no Shredder! The animation is top-notch here, but the characters have superpowers, and I mean literal ones like a goddamn Susanoo, Jedi nunchucks, and a fucking techno-bender. This didn't sit well with a lot of people, but the fights were so smooth, the story pretty interesting, and the characters actually relatable. So I straight up ignored the elephant in the room and declare it the best movie so far. Some people also criticize changing April's character to this, but at least she's an active participant in the movie. I mean, you know, she gives a lot of exposition, she does a lot of action scenes. It doesn't harm my bottom line, and I hope it stays that way.
Right?
Nope.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mutant Mayhem is going to be released on the 2nd of August, 2023. Which again introduces the turtles, their personalities, and their need to learn to cooperate with each other. This dynamic of the team is made even worse when we find out that they have the personalities of teenagers, the existential crisis of teenagers, and they changed April's character to something everyone can hate. This time she's playing the role of an unfunny,
This is insane.
unattractive, unnecessary character,
No, not
and
cool.
yay for that. The story is also copied straight from the X-Men, with Magneto here telling the heroes to help him create a society for mutants.
You're right to fear us. We are the future. We are the ones who will inherit this earth.
Just watch the original movie, man. The only silver lining here is the art style. It's straight up fire. I will watch this movie solely on these two factors. And if you also accept these obvious flaws and yet find this bubbling curiosity in yourself, then go ahead and hopefully have a good time. Now, for those of you keeping count, the franchise has been rebooted 13 times, and there is no end in sight. The comics have been long forgotten by the mass populace. The TV show after 2012 was horrifying, and movies till 2021 were live action. And now they decide to reboot, a reboot which had a better style and an original story. This is honestly one of the most confusing franchises in existence, and I'm a huge Ben 10 fan. Also, I haven't even dared to touch the topic of video games because I'm scared for my sanity here. All I can say to the viewers is to watch the 2021 movie if you don't find this offensive. Otherwise, skip directly to the 2012 TV show and finally take a deep dive into the 4 volumes produced by the Mirage Comics. Hopefully, this video was able to voice out the frustrations felt by the fans and give the new ones some much needed guidance. All in all, make sure to remember the golden rule of not trusting a new entry to an ongoing series nowadays, and you will be just fine. Also, like, share and subscribe if you liked the video. Now I must return to my slumber for eternity.